Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurtuse Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So thank you for joining. We'll start today's Bhagavad Gita reading, chapter 10, verse number 19. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Hanta te kathashyami divye heyatma vibhutayah pradhanyantaha kuru shrestha naste antu vitarastame. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent. O Arjun, my opulences are limitless." From now on, Krishna will describe his vibhutis till text 42. Purport. It is not possible to comprehend the greatness of Krishna and his opulences. The senses of the individual soul are limited and do not permit him to understand the totality of Krishna's affairs. Still, the devotees try to understand Krishna, but not on the principle that they will be able to understand Krishna fully at any specific time or in any state of life. Rather, the very topics of Krishna are so relishable that they appear to the devotees as nectar. Thus, the devotees enjoy them. In discussing Krishna's opulences and divine energies, the pure devotees take transcendental pleasure. Therefore, they want to hear and discuss them. Krishna knows that living entities do not understand the extent of his opulences. He therefore agreed to state only the principal manifestations of his different energies. The word pradhanitaha, principle, is very important because we can understand only a few of the principal details of the Supreme Lord, for his features are unlimited. It is not possible to understand them all, and vibhuti, as used in this verse, refers to the opulences by which he controls the whole manifestation. In the Amar Course dictionary, it is stated that vibhuti indicates an exceptional opulence. The impersonalist or pantheist cannot understand the exceptional opulence of the Supreme Lord nor the manifestation of his divine energies. Both in the material world and the spiritual world, his energies are distributed in every variety of manifestation. Now, Krishna is describing what can be directly perceived by the common man. Thus, part of his variegated energy is described in this way. Text number 20. Aham atma gudakesha sarva bhutasya sthitah aham adishya madhyam cha bhutanam anta eva cha. I am the super soul, O Arjun, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Purport. In this word, Arjun is addressed as Gudakesh, which means one who has conquered the darkness of sleep. For those who are sleeping in the darkness of ignorance, it is not possible to understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests himself in various ways in the material and spiritual worlds. Thus, this address by Krishna to Arjun is significant because Arjun is above such darkness. The personality of Godhead agrees to describe his various opulences. Krishna first informs Arjun that he is the soul of the entire cosmic manifestation by dint of his primary expansion. Before the material creation, the Supreme Lord, by his plenary expansion, accepts the Purusha incarnation, and from him everything begins. Therefore, he is Atma, the soul of the Mahatattva, the universal elements. The total material energy is not the cause of the creation. Actually, the Mahavishnu enters into the Mahatattva, the total material energy. He is the soul. When Mahavishnu enters into the manifested universes, he again manifests himself as the super soul in each and every entity. We have experienced that the personal body of the living entity exists due to the presence of the spiritual spark. Without the existence of the spiritual spark, the body cannot develop. Similarly, the material manifestation cannot develop unless the Supreme Soul, Krishna, enters. As stated in Subal Upanishad, Prakriti Adi Sarva Bhutantar Yami Sarvasheshi Cha Narayanaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is existing as the Super Soul in all manifested universes. The three Purusha avatars are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. They are also described in Satvat Tantra, Vishnustu Trini Rupani Purushakhyanya Atho Vidhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests three features as Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and Shirodakshay Vishnu. In the material manifestation, the Mahavishnu or Karanadakshay Vishnu is described in the Brahma Samhita 5.47. Yah Karanav Jalid Bhajati Sam Yoga Nidram. The Supreme Lord Krishna, the cause of all causes, lies down in the cosmic ocean of as Mahavishnu. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the beginning of this universe, the maintainer of the universal manifestation, and the end of all energy. Text 20. Adityanam aham Vishnur Joshisham Ravir Amshuman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshatranam aham Shashi. Of the of the Adityas I am Vishnu. Of lights I am the radiant sun. Of the Maruts I am Marichi. And among the stars I am the moon. Purport. There are 12 Adityas. Of Krishna is the principal. Among all the luminaries shining in the sky, the sun is the chief. And in the Brahma Samhita, the sun is accepted as the glowing eye of the Supreme Lord. There are 50 varieties of wind blowing in space. And of these winds, the controlling deity, Marichi, represents Krishna. Among the stars, the moon is the most prominent at night, and thus the moon represents Krishna. It appears from this verse that the moon is one of the stars. Therefore, the stars that twinkle in the sky also reflect the light of the sun. The theory that there are many suns within the universe is not accepted by the Vedic literature. The sun is one, and as by the reflection of the sun, the moon illuminates, so also do the stars. Since Bhagavad Gita indicates herein that the moon is one of the stars, the twinkling stars are not suns, but is similar to the moon. Text 22. Vedanam samavedosmi devanam asmi vasavaha indriyanam manaschasmi bhutanam asmi chetana. Of the Vedas, I am the Samved. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force, consciousness. Purport. The difference between matter and spirit is the matter has no consciousness like the living entity. Therefore, this consciousness is supreme and eternal. Consciousness cannot be produced by combination of matter. Text number 23. Rudranam Shankarashchasmi Vittesho Yaksharakshasam Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Meruhu Shrinam Aham. Of all the Rudras, I am the Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of Wealth, Kuber. Of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni. And of mountains, I am Meru. Purport. There are 11 Rudras, of whom Shankar, Lord Shiv, is predominant. He is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord in charge of the mode of ignorance in the universe. The leader of the Yakshas and Rakshasas is Kuber, the master treasurer of the demigods, and he is a representation of the Supreme Lord. Meru is a mountain famed for its rich natural resources. Text 24. Purudhasam cha mukhyam mam vidhi parth brahaspatim senaninam aham skandah sarasam asmi sagarah. Of priests, O Arjun, know me to be the chief Brahaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Purport. Indra is the chief demigod of the heavenly planets and is known as the king of the heavens. The planet on which he reigns is called Indralok. Brahaspati is Indra's priest, and since Indra is the chief of all the kings, Brahaspati is the chief of all priests. And as Indra is the chief of all kings, similarly, Skand or Kartikeya, the son of Parvati and Lord Shiva, is the chief of all the military commanders. And of all the bodies of water, the ocean is the greatest. These representations of Krishna only give hints of his greatness. Text 25. Maharshinaam Rigur Aham Giram Asme Ekam Aksharam Yajnanam Japo Yagyosmi Sthava Savaram Himalaya. Translation. Of the greatest sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibration, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Purport. Brahma, the first living creature within the universe, created several sons for the propagation of various kinds of species. Among these sons, Bhrigu is the most powerful sage. Of all transcendental vibration, Omkar, represents Krishna. Of all sacrifices, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is the purest representation of Krishna. Sometimes animal sacrifices are recommended, but in the sacrifice of Hare Krishna, there is no question of violence. It is the simplest and the purest. Whatever is sublime in the worlds is a representation of Krishna. Therefore, the Himalayas, the greatest mountain in the world, also represent him. The mountain named Meru was mentioned in a previous verse, but Meru is sometimes movable, whereas the Himalayas are never movable. Thus, the Himalayas are greater than Meru. Text 26. Ashwataha sarva vrikshanam devarishinam cha naradaha gandharvanam chitrartha siddhanam kapilo munihi. Translation. Of all the trees, I am the banyan tree, and of sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitrartha, and among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapil. Purport. The banyan tree, Ashwatha, is one of the highest and the most beautiful trees, and people in India often worship it as one of their daily morning rituals. Among the demigods, they also worship Narad, who is considered the greatest devotee in the universe. Thus, he is the representation of Krishna as a devotee. The Gandharva planet is filled with entities who sing beautifully, and among them, the best singer is Chitrartha. Among the perfect living entities, Kapil, the son of Devahuti, is representative of Krishna. He is considered as incarnation of Krishna, and his philosophy is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Later on, another Kapil became famous, but his philosophy was atheistic. Thus, there is a gulf of difference between them. Text 27. Uchaishrasvam Ashwanam Vidhi Mam Amrito Bhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam Chanaradhipam. Translation: of horses know me to be Uchaishrava, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants I am Airavata, and among men I am the monarch. Purport: the devotee demigods and the demons, asuras, once took part in the churning the sea. From this churning, nectar and poison were produced, and Lord Shiva drank the poison. From the nectar were produced many entities, of which there was a horse named Ucheshrawa. Another animal produced from the nectar was an elephant named Eravat. Because these two animals were produced from nectar, they have special significance and they are representatives of Krishna. Among the human beings, the king is the representative of Krishna because Krishna is the maintainer of the universe, and the kings who are appointed on the account of their godly qualification are maintainers of their kingdoms. King like Maharaj Yudhishthir, Maharaj Parikshit, and Lord Ram were all highly righteous kings who always thought of the citizens' welfare. In the Vedic literature, the king is considered to be the representative of God. In this age, however, with the corruption of the principles of religion, monarchy decayed and is now finally abolished. It is to be understood that in the past, however, people were more happy under righteous kings. Text 28. Ayuddhanam aham vajram dehunam asmi kamdhuk prajanashchasmi kandarpah sarpanam asmi vasukihi. Translation: of weapons I am the thunderbolt, among cows I am the surbi, of causes for procreation I am the kandarpa, the god of love, and of serpents I am Vasuki. The thunderbolt, indeed, a mighty weapon, represents Krishna's power. In Krishna Lok, in the spiritual sky, the cows, which can be milked at any time, and they give as much milk as one likes. Of course, such cows does not exist in this material world, but there is mention of them in Krishna Lok. The Lord keeps many such cows, which are called Surbhi. It is stated that the Lord is engaged in herding the Surbhi cows. Kandarp is the sex desire for presenting good sons. Therefore, Kandarp is the representative of Krishna. Sometimes sex is engaged in only for sense gratification. Such sex does not represent Krishna, but sex for the generation of good children is called Kandarp and represents Krishna. Text 29. Anantaschasmi naganam varuno yadasamaham pitrinam aryamachasmi yamaha samyamatamaham. Translation: of the many-hooded Nagas, I am Ananta, and among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varun. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama, and among the dispensers of law, I am the Yam, the Lord of Death. Purport: among the many-hooded Nagas, serpents, Anant is the greatest, as is the demigod Varun among the aquatics. They both represent Krishna. There is also planet of Pitta's ancestors, presided over by Aryama, who represents Krishna. There are many living entities who give punishment to the miscreants, and among them, Yama is the chief. Yama is situated in a planet near this earthly planet. After that, those who are very sinful are taken there, and Yam arranges different kind of punishments for them. Text 30. Prahladaschasmi Daityanam Kalaha Kalyatamaham Mriganam cha Mrigendroham Vainityascha Pakshinam. Among the Daityas, demons, I am the devoted Prahlad. Among subduers, I am Time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garud. Purport: Diti and Aditi are two sisters. The sons of Aditi are called Adityas, and the sons of Diti are called Daityas. All the Adityas are devotee of the Lord, and all the Daityas are atheistic. Although Prahlad was born in the family of Daityas, he was a great devotee from his childhood. Because of his devotional service and godly nature, he is considered to be representative of Krishna. There are many subduing principles, but time wears down all things in the material universe and so represents Krishna. Of the many animals, the lion is the most powerful and ferocious. And of the million varieties of birds, Garud, the bearer of Lord Vishnu, is the greatest. Text 31. Pavanaha pavatamasmi Ramaha shastrabhitamaham Jahashanam makaraschasmi Srotasam asmi Jahnavi. Translation: Of purifiers I am the wind, of the wielders of weapon I am Ram, of fishes I am the shark, and of the flowing rivers I am the Ganges. Of all the aquatics, the shark is one of the biggest and is certainly the most dangerous to man. Thus, the shark represents Krishna. Text 32. Sarganaamadir antascha madhyam chaivaham arjuna adhyatma vidya vidyanam vadaha pravadatamaham. Of all creation, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjun. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among the logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Purport: Among the created manifestations, the first is the creation of the total material elements. As explained before, the cosmic manifestation is created and conducted by Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Kshirodakshai Vishnu, and then again it is annihilated by Lord Shiva. Brahma is a secondary creator. All these agents of creation, maintenance, and annihilation are incarnations of the material qualities of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, he is the beginning, the middle, and the end of all creation. For advanced education, there are various kinds of books of knowledge, such as the four Vedas, their six supplements, the Vedanta Sutra, books of logic, books of philosophy, and the Puranas. So altogether, there are 14 divisions of books of education. Of these, the book which presents Adhyatma Vidya, spiritual knowledge, in particular, the Vedanta Sutra, represent Krishna. Among logicians, there are different kinds of argument. Supporting one's argument with evidence that also supports the opposing side is called Jalpa. Merely trying to defeat one opponent is called Vitanda, but actual conclusion is called Vad. This conclusive truth is a representation of Krishna. Text 33. Aksharanam akarosmi dvandvaha samasiksaya aham evakshyah kalo dhataham vishvato mukhaha. Translation: Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. Purport: Akar, the first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet. Akar, the first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet, is the beginning of the Vedic literature. Without Akar, Nothing can be sounded. Therefore, it is the beginning of sound. In Sanskrit, there are also many compound words, of which the dual word, like Ram, Krishna, is called Dvandva. In this compound, the words Rama and Krishna have the same form, and therefore the compound is called dual. Among all the kind of killers, time is the ultimate because time kills everything. Time is the representative of Krishna because in due course of time, there will be a great fire and everything will be annihilated. Among the living entities who are creators, Brahma, who has four heads, is the chief. Therefore, he is the representative of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Text 34. Mrityu sarvaharashchaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirtihi shrirvakcha narinam smritirmeda drihiti shama. Translation: I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Purport: as soon as man is born, he dies at every moment. Thus, death is devouring every living entity at every moment. But the last stroke is called death itself. That death is Krishna. As for future development, all living entities undergo six basic changes. They are born, they grow, they remain for some time, they reproduce, they dwindle, and finally they vanish. Of these changes, the first is deliverance from the womb, and that is Krishna. The first generation is the beginning of all future activities. The seven opulence listed, fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience, are considered feminine. If a person possesses all of them or some of them, he becomes glorious. If a man is famous as a righteous man, that makes him glorious. Sanskrit is a perfect language and is therefore very glorious. If after studying one can remember a subject matter, he is gifted with a good memory or smriti and the ability not only to read many books on different subject matters, but to understand them and apply them when necessary is intelligence, medha, another opulence. The ability to overcome unsteadiness is called firmness or steadfastness, dhriti. And when when one is fully qualified, yet is humble and gentle, and when one is able to keep his balance both in sorrow and in the ecstasy of joy, he has the opulence called patience, shama. Text 35. बृहत्सां तथा साम्नां गायत्री छन्दसामहं मासानां मार्गशीर्षरोऽहं ऋतूणां शुमाकरः. Translation: of the hymns in the Samved, I am the Brit Sam, and of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Margshirsha, November, December, and of seasons, I am flower bearing spring. Purport. Purport. It has already been explained by the Lord that amongst all the Vedas, he is the Samved. The Samved is rich with beautiful songs played by the various demigods. One of these songs is the Brihat Sam, which has an exquisite melody and is sung at midnight. In Sanskrit, there are definite rules that regulate poetry. Rhyme and meter are not written whimsically, as in much modern poetry. Amongst the regulated poetry, the Gayatri Mantra, which is chanted by the duly qualified Brahmanas, is the most prominent. The Gayatri Mantra is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam Because the Gayatri Mantra is specially meant for God realization, it represents the Supreme Lord. This mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people, and one who attains success in chanting it, he can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. One must first acquire the qualification of the perfectly situated person, the qualities of goodness according to the laws of material nature, in order to chant the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is very important in Vedic civilization and is considered to be the sound incarnation of Brahman. Brahma is its initiator, and it is passed down from him in disciplic succession. The month of November December is considered the best of all months because in India grains are collected from the fields at this time and the people become very happy. Of course, spring is the season universally liked because it is neither too hot nor too cold, and the flowers and trees blossom and flourish. In spring, there are also many ceremonies commemorating Krishna's pastimes. Therefore, this is considered to be the most joyful of all seasons, and it is the representative of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Text 36. द्यूतां छलयतामस्मि तेजस तेजस्विनामहं जयोस्मि व्यवस्यास्मि सत्वं सत्वतामहं. I am also the gambling of the cheats, and of the splendid I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. Purport. There are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. Of all cheating processes, gambling stands supreme and therefore represents Krishna. As a supreme, Krishna can be more deceitful than any mere man. If Krishna chooses to deceive a person, no one can surpass him in his deceit. His greatness is not simply one sided, it is all sided. Among the victorious, he is victory. He is the splendor of the splendid. Among the enterprising and industrious, he is the most enterprising, the most industrious. Among adventurers, he is the most adventurous. And among the strong, he is the strongest. When Krishna was present on earth, no one could surpass him in his strength. Even in his childhood, he lifted Govardhan Hill. No one can surpass him in cheating. No one can surpass him in splendor. No one can surpass him in victory. No one can surpass him in enterprise. And no one can surpass him in strength. Text 37, 7:14. I guess time is done. So 7:14. We'll continue from tomorrow. So thank you for joining. You have to be with me for a few more days till Prabhuji is back. So thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna.